What's something you hear every single presidential election? I know you should never say every time or never. There's things you shouldn't say, but I guarantee you've heard this and you've probably said this every election. What have you heard? What have you said? This is the most important election ever. Have you said that about this one? It's Trump. It's Dome. It's do we stop communism or not? It's, of course, the most important election ever. But it's not. Oh, don't get me wrong. It's very important. It's not the most important election ever. Every election isn't the most important election ever. And since the 60s, that's what everyone said.
This election is one of the most vital in the history of America.
The most important of all choices will be made by the American people at the polls.
This is the most important election in this nation in 50 years.
This is the most important election in history.
1996, in my opinion, is going to be the most important election of our lifetimes.
I am convinced one of the most important elections we're likely to see for the next 50 years.
All these choices make this one of the most important elections in our history.
Americans, this is the most important election of our lifetime.
This election could not be more important. This election is the most important election of our lifetime.
This election is the most important election in our lifetimes.
The most important election in our lifetimes.
This is the most important election of our lifetimes.
November 5th is going to be the most important day in the history of our country. That's the election.
Well done, Mr. Producer, putting together that little compilation. But it's true. Everyone says it. But every election can't be the most important election, can it? Some have had to have been more important than others. The most important election in this country's history was 2008. No, I'm not being dismissive about how important this next election is and the one after that. I don't know. They're all really, really important. 2008 was the one. That was the one we couldn't afford to lose, and we did. And we have paid and will continue to pay the price for losing that election for years to come, because that is the election that brought us Barack Hussein Obama. And you see, there are things, several things that make Barack Obama so incredibly damaging. Yes, the media, they've just slobbered all over him. I'm sure you remember all this.
Change has come to America.
We know that wind can make a cold day feel colder, but can national pride make a freezing day feel warmer? It seems to be the case, because regardless of the final crowd number estimates, never have so many people shivered so long with such joy. It is radiant, the happiness. In fact, just us lucky enough to be in this business today, looking out the window here and getting the reaction when the crowd catches your eye. It is such a deal.
So it was that as many as 2 million pilgrims made their way to Washington and the Mall to witness this most sacred event.
What a day it was. It may take days or years to really absorb the significance of what happened to America today.
From above, even the seagulls must have been awed by the blanket of humanity.
And the mass flickering of cell phone cameras on the Mall seemed like stars shining back at him.
When Barack Obama started to speak, I was right in the middle of the crowd. People were crying, they were laughing, they were cheering. Suddenly someone would just come up and hug you. It was just amazing. It was like you're standing in the middle of these strangers and all of a sudden you had a million friends around you.
It was one of the most moving moments in my life.
Except that damaging communist was bringing poison into this country, into the government. And what made him so dangerous wasn't the media's love. The media does that for so many. It was his hatred of the country combined with his natural abilities. He could speak well. He gave great speeches. He knew how to inspire people. And more than that, he knew how to implement his plans in the government. You see, he got into power and he promptly began to clean out levels of government. He was even cleaning out, not just Republicans, he was cleaning out old, more moderate Bill Clinton types. And he was replacing them with people we've never had in our government before. He took every America-hating dirty commie and he put them in positions of power in the military, FBI, IRS, you name it. He remade this government into a government that reflects his values. And that's the other thing about Obama. His values hate the country. We've had many, many bad presidents. You can argue we've had evil presidents. You can argue most of them were evil. We've had morons. We've had guys who screwed things up. Until the election of Barack Obama, we've never had one who actually wanted to bring the country down. Do you remember? It's a video maybe you've seen, but do you remember that video where he was at a ceremony with Michelle and she turns to him and very clearly says, "All this for a darn flag," only that's not what she says. Remember him turning? Look at it. Remember him turning to her? Turns to her and gives her that nod. Barack Obama hated the United States of America, hates the United States of America. That's his mission, to bring down this country he hates. And that's why, look, that's why he sat in this church for so many years.
When it came to treating the citizens of African descent fairly, America failed. She put them in chains. The government put them on slave quarters, put them on auction blocks, put them in cotton fields, put them in inferior schools, and then wants us to sing God Bless America? No, no, no. Not God Bless America. God damn America. That's in the Bible for killing innocent people. God damn America for treating her citizens as less than human. God damn America as long as she tries to act like she is God and she is supreme.
That man baptized Barack Obama's children. Barack Obama took his America hatred and he brought it into the captain's chair. You see, if you get on a boat, you can survive maybe a moron of a sea captain. I don't know that you can survive a captain who wants to send the boat to the bottom of the ocean. And that's why to this day, Barack Obama stayed involved. Foreign or other presidents, the Bushes, the Clintons, all these people, when they leave, they leave. Just go retire, do some speeches. Barack Obama stayed in D.C. and stayed involved and still controls things to this day because Barack Obama's mission of destroying this country, in his mind, is not over. Every election isn't the most important election ever. They're all important. 2008 was the one we could not afford, and we lost it. I would thank you for coming to my YouTube channel, but I know how brilliant it is, and I know you love it here. So subscribe and watch. We're gonna start really ramping things up and putting some funny stuff, some interesting stuff out there, some collaborations. Either way, my YouTube channel is officially the place to be. So stick around.